Hi, in this video we're going to take a look at what's new in 2020 release of Vault. Not at the full functionality for the release, but in particular the functionality that came out at Christmas in the update 2 for Vault, so 2020.2 release. There's a couple of changes. There's three we're going to talk about very quickly. So let's get straight into it. So first thing you're going to have to do is update to for Vault 2020. So if you've already on 2020 and you've not installed this, you will need to go to your portal, download the update and install it on the server and the client to get the full enhancement. Looking at the help pages, you'll see that there's quite a few new enhancements that have come in. The ones we're going to talk about today are the new duplicate search functionality, which we'll go through in a second, the quick file store validation, and I was going to do some of this cloud syncing, but actually there's a smaller one, which is almost in here as a footnote, but I think is a fundamental game changer in how you may set up and configure your Vault. Okay, so we'll start with the fun one, which is duplicate search first of all. So once you've installed update 2 inside Inventor, we've got an assembly. You are going to be able to go and search for any of the files that you've got inside your Vault, design, and replace them with a similar file inside Vault. You may be thinking, well, I can do that already. I can go to assembly and I can find my replace. Down here, I can select my component I want to replace. It will tell me what file do you want to replace with, and from that I can pick and choose. Well, this is not a pick a file and replace it. This is not a search based on the metadata and replace it. This is search for files in my Vault that have the same geometry, maybe a different material, but the same geometry as my file, and replace it with one of those. So how do we do that? Well, if we go to our Vault tab, you'll see there's a new Find Duplicates button, which if I click on it will open up this browser panel. I can then go in and select either a part, subassembly, or my full assembly and run a search against it. I can either check that I want to run duplicate search about content center files, or I can also opt to ignore anything that's released. In this case, I'm going to include release parts and just do a search. Here we found that it's found a single file, this stiffener plate, where there are two files in Vault with the same geometry. And if we click on that, we'll see there is plate.ipt and simpart 4004A, and both of these are in different folders, and we can see the folders being given to us. If we want to see any more data, we can go to the Vault folder itself, which will open up Vault Explorer and take us there, or we can say show details so we can see where something's used and its history. Okay. I'm going to replace this stiffener with the standard, the one from my standards folder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the three dots here, and instead of placing it, I'm going to say replace all. Hitting replace all is going to tell me it's replaced two instances, and we can see that the name has changed within here. So it is very quick, very simple to use, and you can run multiple searches as often as you want. Now obviously there's still components in my Vault where this could be replaced, so if I rerun, I'd expect to see two parts again. Clicking on these, I can see that instead of the standard parts file, which I'm using in my design, it's the part from project 3 and the part from project 1. So this will allow you to start standardizing your design, start getting your engineers to use those components that are in the standard parts folder, and therefore having a lot more data reuse. Once we've done that, you are also able to, in Vault, do a search on files that have no parent. So you can then clear out all those files that haven't got a parent within Vault directly, should you need to. So that's duplicate search inside Inventor. Inside Vault, what you'll see is that we have a duplicates dashboard that's been added. And this is very simply for the administrators, where they can see a dashboard that tells them kind of how many duplicates they've got in Vault. If they want to, they can also run a report. so that they can see how many of those duplicates there are and who the culprits are that have been putting these duplicate files in. Okay, setup is really easy. In fact, it couldn't really be easier. You go to your Vault settings, you've got a new section here for duplicate search settings. Turn that on, specify the folders that you want to be able to search for duplicates within. And what it will do is it will create a whole load of jobs that will appear on your job processor. And job processors down here, that's my Vault. There we go. So as you add files in, you'll then start indexing them using the job processor. First time you run this, if you've got hundreds of thousands of files and you've told it to index everything, your job processor could take a little time to churn through that, so maybe run it over a weekend. Okay, so that's functionality 1. Functionality 2, which is on the ADMS console, which is why I've got it open here, is for those customers with very large faults that need to be able to restore data. So maybe you are doing a regular validation of your data as you back up, but we know that as we restore that data either onto our server or onto a test server, what happens is it redoes that validation, and that can take a phenomenally long amount of time. So if we go to restore, what you've now got is a quick file store validation. So what this does is it checks the file exists, but it doesn't do a full checksum against it. So it's not as in-depth, it's just checking that the file that's there, we're happy that it exists. So really nice, really easy, but does significantly reduce the time to restore Vault. Okay, so that's the first two. And the third one, which, as I said earlier, is a little bit of a footnote, is the ability now to categorize files based on a new property. And that property is folder location. Daft as it sounds, this should have been in Vault right from the start. We've been skirting around being able to do this by adding properties into templates and having it that as users check in, it reads that property and categorizes based on that property in the file. But that is not always convenient. So now what we've got is if we go to our rules and we go to our file rules, I'll take the standard contents one. In our drop-down list, we can find that we have folder path, and we can say if that folder path contains projects slash I don't know, Parker Hannafin as an example, or Jaguar Land Rover, or any company that we're maybe doing projects for, maybe we categorize our files in a different way. Categorizing your files puts them into a set workflow, set revision control, and controls the relevant properties and property rules for that category of file as well. So it is a fundamental change being able to categorize now based on the folder you add something in. I think for our smaller customers, this is probably not going to be as big a change, but certainly for our large enterprise customers, this could be a complete game changer in terms of how you configure your Vault to work with those multiple teams across multiple countries doing multiple different projects and ways of working. Okay, so that's the three areas. If you want to know more, please get in touch. You can reach me on LinkedIn, Twitter, email, or just contact our service desk. Okay, thanks for watching.